Hello and welcome to Geordie Leather. Today's episode is a bit special. We've received a commission from our customer to do an alteration to this, which is a First World War soldier's helmet. The project is to replace the existing chin strap with a longer one. So let's have a look at it and get started. So let's get on with that. So let's have a look here. We need to, I think, slide this piece of leather out to get it released. So if we slide out that inner piece. Before I do that, it's a good point to always take photographs of things like this before you start dismantling it, because you might not be able to get it back together the right way. So always take lots of pictures of in this case I've taken pictures of the strap, how it's been woven through the buckle, etc. So when I come to put it back together, if I get stuck, I refer to those pictures. So first job, let's dismantle it. Let's take out the little bit of leather inner strap. Even though it's very old, this is actually still quite stiff leather, which is surprising. There we go, that's that bit. So pull that out, and then we need to take out this little pin, which we put to one side and refit, obviously. I'll return the entire original strap back to the customer. They haven't asked for it, but I think it's good just in case they want to return the helmet back to its original condition in the future. They can do that quite easily. So there is the strap we're interested in. So let's just move the helmet to one side, and we can have a closer look at the strap. So let's just zoom in on that a bit more for you. So we have basically a strip of leather. We'll take some measurements in a moment. Undo this buckle. You were a bit too close there, a bit more. So we want to take off. We got a buckle, we've got a small pin, and we have the strap itself. So the first job is to remove these two small rivets. Like I say, these look almost brand new considering how old it is, but we're going to have to drill out these rivets and obviously replace them with similar. They won't be identical, but I've got some antique rivets which will look nice against this colour, so we'll do that. So that's the first job. Okay, so we're going to drill out these rivets. Now I want to be careful not to scratch the existing metalwork, obviously, so it's going to require a bit of skill, and just take it slow. Small hole in each rivet, and then hopefully we can work those loose and pull them out. So let's put my anvil, give us something to press against. And I think a Dremel with a small bit should do the trick. Just check that's going to be okay. Take it slow. So let's have a look at this piece of strap of leather. So we need some measurements. Let's just get a bit of paper. Let's write down what we need. So we need a length of 'Well, the length of the existing one, obviously we need to make it longer. This is 395. It's the existing and the new will make it longer. The width is 18mm, and we'll keep the same width for that. Obviously, we can just get the measurement of the thickness. This is approximately 2mm. That's not that vital. Okay, so I took a measurement of the customer from where are we? I'll show you. From here, this part of the mechanism, to the hinge on the other side, under his chin. So I'll give you a better view that way, and that was 42 centimeters. So we need to allow for that distance plus an overlap for further adjustment. So we'll not deal with the length just yet. Let's get a piece of width cut. So I'm going to use some 2mm veg tan. So we'll get that out now. Okay, so here we have some piece of veg tan of a, not exactly the same size, but near enough. It's about the right size thickness, I think, for a chin strap. So we need a piece which is 18mm. It can be approximately, let's say 500. So we get it from here. So it's a bit of a crease there. We don't want that. So as with most bits of leather, there's always odd shapes. So we want to avoid that crease. So I'm going to have to, let's have a look, 500, I think, probably here. So I need a straight edge before I can use the strap cutter. So let's do that. Turn this around and we'll cut off this piece here. Right, so there's our straight edge. So we want a width of 18mm. So let's just mark that up as 18. And let's cut that. So normally I'd do this with a strap cutter, but as it's such a small job, it isn't really worth it. Just want to check that. Yes, need to wear my glasses, I think. That's where we should be. Double check that. 18. Okay. So I've cut this. Okay, so there's our strap. Okay, so that's a nice size for a strap, I think. Obviously, the biggest challenge with this sort of project is not so much making the item, it's actually getting the colour to match the original as much as possible. This shouldn't be too difficult. It won't be an exact match, but it'll be very close. Okay, so We know that this is it's going to be the same on both the old and the new, so we'll do that bit first. So we just line this up, and we can take an awl. Look at that, so it's exactly the same position, so you see it's perfect fit. And just mark the centre of that hole and the centre of that hole. Right, so the rivets we're going to use, let's get them down. Have a look. Would be at the very bottom of the panel. There we go. So I think looking at the thickness, I think that once it's coloured should work very well. We look at the make sure that will fit the original hardware. Yep, I think that would be a good match. So we need 2 of those. Just check. I think they are a 2mm hole, but we'll check. Yes, 2mm punch. So this is the end here. Set my punch to 2mm. We'll do a bit of scrap. We'll check the end. I'm going to cut off. Just make sure it's the right size fit. It's a little bit tight, so I'm going to go with 2.5. Better. Okay, and so just remember how this goes together. Bring this down. So we first of all punch these 2 holes. So this is going to go on this side, and this is going to go on this side. Is that right? So we can see the clip. Yeah, but we won't insert the rivets just yet because we want to stain the leather before we do that. So we'll put those 2 on side. And we'll have a look at the other holes now. So, like I said, so these holes are obviously at the end of that strap. So, like I say, I measured from the buckle end to the hook end. Sorry, the hinge end to the hook end, and that was 42 under the customer's chin. So it's assuming this is attached. So that will be from there to here. Now, obviously that's to the hinge, so there needs to be leather overlapping that hinge. So we need to probably allow the full width of this just as an adjustment area. So I'll take it right to the end of here, and we'll just cut off that nice and square. So we want to replicate these holes. So if we take a pencil, so get the approximate position where each hole was originally, and then we can punch those, create little slits. Okay. So so we need to find out how big that hole is. So it's probably similar to this. Yeah, 2.5 mm hole. But again, we'll do a test. A scrap of the same size. Let's do a hole. Let's see if the original, once we got the slit in. So as you can see, each hole has a small slit, which allows the little pin to get in and slide up. So the slit appears to be 8 mm. So we'll do the same with this test piece. So there we go, that's a test hole. Let's just try the original fitting in there, and if it works, that's the size we need. Obviously, being new leather, it's quite stiff. I don't actually like these little pins they use. It's not a very efficient design, I think. But this is about as stiff as it was to get the other one into the original strap, so it's probably about right. There we go. That seems nice and snug, so I think that's the right size hole. So we'll go with that. So let me just get an approximate center on these. And we'll punch those holes. Okay, so you can notice there's a difference between the first hole and the other holes. There's a wider gap. I suspect that's because that folds over like so. So we're nearly there. Let's just do the slots, then we're ready for dyeing. So just remind me which way the slots go. So from the end of the belt, they go that way. So let's just, okay, so down to each hole. So let's do that. Okay, there we go. So that is the basic construction complete. The next step is to dye and then burnish the edges. Obviously, being a chin strap, we don't want these sharp edges rubbing against the person's skin, so we'll burnish those off. So let's have a look. Next stage, trying to match this colour. So let's just start by protecting the workbench with some cover. And of course, let's put on the obligatory rubber gloves. I have a dye which is a 𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵 light brown, I believe, but I'm going to use a diluted version of that and do it in several coats and try and match the colour as best I can. So let's have a look. Yeah, this is the 𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵 light brown, but I have a mixture of this, which is 5% dye, 95% methylated spirits, which gives a lighter tone, which that's one coat. With additional coats, I think we'll get fairly close to that. So I'm going to use that and see how we get on. So let's give that a bit of a stir. Move this out of the way so it doesn't get splashed. So we'll start with the back. Keep my daubers in these little plastic resealable bags. It saves on using a new dauber every time. Okay, so let's just dip it in there. Give it a bit of a wipe off. So let's just start. This is the back, so it's not that important. Just do that. So as you can see, that colour's much too light, but we'll add layers to the colour with additional applications. Right, so the first coat, I think that's much too light, but we'll give it a minute or so to evaporate, and then we'll do the next coat, which will darken it even further. Okay, we'll go on the back, and we'll do that second coat. So, second coat. This is an alcohol-based dye, so it evaporates fairly quickly and will allow a second coat very quickly. So you can see we're getting a bit closer to the original. Another one or two coats, I'm guessing. So again, give that a second or so to absorb the dye, and we'll do another coat, and then all we have to do is to burnish the edges and fit the hardware, and we're done. So again, we'll go on the back. I think we're getting very close. Let's just put the original there. I think that's pretty darn close, personally. Obviously the dye will dry slightly later once it's fully dry. But I'm going to give it one extra coat. You can see it's starting to lighten up a bit here. But maybe one extra coat, and when it dries it should be about right. So again, we'll do the back. Back isn't that important. And let's have a look. One final coat, I think. Yep, I think that's spot on. Okay, so that's now completely dry, and I think it's a pretty reasonable colour match. Best we're going to get probably. So it's just need to finish the edges and put the hardware together. So let's do that now. So because it's a chin strap, we want to take off these sharp edges and burnish the edges so it's comfortable to wear. So we'll start by I noticed on the original that on the very tip there is a slight chamfer, so we'll do that as well. Just take off what's left on the bobber to quickly go over those raw edges. Okay, and now we shall burnish. Give that dye a little bit of time to soak in. Let's take off some of the excess cloth. Right, so let's burnish. Need some gum 𝐷𝐿𝐿. Okay, so that's that done. Give it a bit of a white cloth. That should be a lot more comfortable for the wearer now. No sharp edges. Should see the shine of that. I think one final thing before I put the hardware on, I'm going to put some Resolene just to give it a bit of a weatherproofing, because it is going to be used outdoors. Okay, I'm going to leave that to dry for a little while, and then we'll come back and do the hardware. Okay, so the final stage is just to thread this back onto the helmet. So there we go, all done. That's the final product. One Swiss World War I soldier's helmet, complete with new longer strap. I think our customer would be happy with that. I certainly am. We've managed to use all of the original hardware. I think we've managed to get a really good colour match on the original strap as well. So I'm very happy with that, and I hope you enjoyed watching. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and to click on the bell icon so you're notified when our next video comes out. Thanks for watching.